Welcome back. I hope you had a peaceful interlude there. The topic this week is every problem has a solution, and the great yogis of antiquity had an interesting way of thinking about problems. They said that all problems are movements of our mind. All problems involve the movement of our own minds. And when it comes to movement, I'm thinking of the hurricane that's battering Florida right now. We could say a prayer for the well-being and safety of those souls being assailed by that storm. And all of our problems, to some degree, are storms inside of our own consciousness. Some problems are very small and almost imperceptible. And some of our problems are hurricanes that come blowing through and wreak havoc in their path. But they're all movements of our mind. And what's interesting about hurricanes and their smaller version, a tornado, is that they all begin incredibly small. You probably have been out in the desert and seen one of those very teeny little dust devils kicking up just a little bit. And yet every tornado begins with the smallest bit of movement, as does every hurricane. Hurricanes begin, at least hurricanes in the Western Hemisphere, begin off the western coast of Africa, and they just begin as the smallest little storm. And all storms are the collision of two fronts, a warm front and a cold front. And that's what we are as human beings. We're yin and yang, we're light and dark, we are up and down, we are the collision of opposites. And so is everyone else. And it's not hard to see how things get stirred up on Earth because everybody's spinning. So great hurricanes, great tornadoes, great problems are the collision of these different ideas. And inevitably, sooner or later, all tornadoes and all hurricanes, they dissipate. When you think about a tornado roaring across the Midwest, in effect, it is nothing other than the most calm and peaceful air that simply has been stirred up. People in the Midwest know well that the best weather always follows a hurricane right in its path, which is good because then you can go look for your cows and stuff. And so when we realize that all of our problems are movements of our own mind, we're given an indication what the solution is. And the solution is there's part of our consciousness that's never moving and never spinning. If you've ever been where there are those huge thunderstorms, the ones that build up in Oklahoma and Kansas, or even around here this time of year out over Livermore and such, you'll see these gigantic thunderclouds begin to rise up. That's one of our problems. And they begin to explode and they mushroom and they're fed more energy. And the energy inside of a thunderstorm is the equivalent of an atomic bomb, and the energy inside of a hurricane is the equivalent of several hydrogen bombs. But if you watch a thunderstorm as they continue to rise, they anvil out. There's a level where they can't go, and that's where the air is so subtle that the disturbance can't go there. And all of us have that inside of ourselves. We have a level of our consciousness that's never moved, that's never spinning, that's never at the effect of the collision of the warm and cold fronts inside of us and how we run into other people. So in our meditation, we learn to rise and to find that level of calm and peace where even if a problem does come through, we can see it for what it is, the movement of energy, and we can turn problems into solutions. Every problem is a clarion call to solve something, to get better at something. Once upon a time, we had a problem of travel, and so we learned to walk, and then we learned to get on horses, and then we learned to sail, and then we learned about trains and then planes. And it used to take 2 years to go around the world in a ship, and now it takes 45 minutes in a shuttle. I suspect it won't be long that we can bilocate and go someplace in the blink of an eye. Crazy? Perhaps, but every problem has a solution. And as we realize every problem is the movement of our own mind. In my spiritual program, they say If we have a problem, the problem always exists. It's a spiritual axiom. The problem is inside of me. And I hate that because usually the problem is something else or somebody else. But we all have a place of infinite stillness. And in meditation, as we can connect with that, we can dissipate these hurricanes and tornadoes all the more quickly and use their energy for good. Anyway, food for thought, and hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll continue the chat tomorrow.